From the KATC Weather Lab, here's Rob's forecast.
Welcome back. Well, a summer scenario for Acadiana as we head into fall. The fall equinox comes Thursday evening, and it looks like high heat and mid-90s well into the weekend. Then hopefully a cool front. Meanwhile, tropics getting busy. We can see Fiona, a tropical storm here, and then farther to the south, a tropical disturbance. We'll get to that in just a bit. Meanwhile, this ridge of high pressure not budging a whole lot and expanding. That's why we saw less cumulus clouds that had any growth. No showers today. That's a first all summer long, and it looks like it's going to stay that way for several days. So high heat and mostly sunny skies. Getting a little bit drier as we start seeing a little bit more of a north wind as we round out the week and head into the weekend. But drier doesn't necessarily mean hotter. It just means the heat index won't be quite so obnoxious. So as we get out into the tropics, we have three areas that we're watching. Tropical Storm Gaston, North Atlantic system, going to meander around there. We'll dispense with tracking that system. Hurricane Fiona, major hurricane, and then our tropical disturbance that now has a 90% chance of developing. It could be Hermine down the line. Looks like it'll get its act together once Fiona moves out of the equation, because we're still getting a little bit upper atmospheric shear and outflow from Fiona interfering with that burgeoning tropical system. Meanwhile, Fiona getting more organized, more circular. This has been intensifying throughout this evening, just about on the verge of being a Category 4 storm, 125 mile per hour winds. That's a strong Cat 3. You get to Category 4, you're at 130 mile per hour winds, and the forecast still brings the system to 140, very close to Bermuda. Right now, just tropical storm watches, but they could change to hurricane watches and maybe tropical storm warnings at the very least. Again, Bermuda on the dirty side of the system. And then down the line, this is going to be impacting, Fiona is going to be impacting the Canadian Maritimes as a fairly strong storm system. Eastern Nova Scotia and Newfoundland also involved in the mix, which is unusual, but not unusual in the last 20 or 30 years. We're seeing more storms impacting higher latitudes in a warmer climate. So here's the big picture with respect to Fiona up here and our low pressure down here. And right now, it's just a tropical wave. It's called Invest 98L, and the latest tropical spaghetti plots, very consistent, bringing a system, we think, at least through the central Caribbean. Then models begin to diverge, so we'll see how we play it out. But nonetheless, it's hard to model anything that's not a formed system. So these spaghetti plots, just a rough guide. And if we look at what we call the deterministic models, the European model and the GFS model, one model run doesn't make an accurate forecast, but we stop it at a week from today and notice the Euro has a strong system, probably a hurricane on the western tip of Cuba, and then you get to about Thursday impacting Florida, maybe the west coast of Florida. Then the latest GFS run showing very similar scenarios as we get to Tuesday. A strong system, more than likely a hurricane on the western tip of Cuba, and then an even more intense system rolling through the eastern Gulf of Mexico. So we'll have to watch that. Right now, Louisiana on the good side of things, but you cannot trust a model beyond 5 to 7 days, and we're a little bit beyond that in this model guidance. So we're not in the mix, but we're not out of the mix. If that were to be the case, what we saw just there, we're going to have some very nice weather toward the end of next week. So generally fair skies over the next couple of days. Temperatures low to mid 70s, highs in the mid 90s. We do it all over again going into Thursday afternoon. Temperatures in the mid 90s once again. And as we get into Friday, the graph model indicating that we might see a little bit of a push, a little bit of a frontal boundary. So maybe not quite as hot Friday, but we'll see if the other models come in line with that. Bottom line, hot and dry for the most part into the weekend. 72 is as low as we'll go overnight tonight with generally clear skies. Tomorrow we'll go 95 for the high with mostly sunny skies and a little bit of a drier north breeze, but not much of a breeze at that. Mid 90s Thursday, Friday into the weekend. By Sunday, maybe a few showers. Monday, a few showers early, and here comes that front, and that's going to set us up for the 80s for highs, mid 80s, and overnight lows low to mid 60s. And if there's a tropical system in the eastern Gulf of Mexico, we might even be a little bit cooler than that. Certainly we could be breezy, and thus we'll just have to wait and see how things go with that tropical disturbance. We're going to have more on that all week long, and it is that time of year, of course.
Sure is.
Here we are. Thank you, Rob.